Boy!
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to Secret Life of Horror. My name's Danny. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. It's been a little while. It's been a crazy first start of the year. It's already April, which is insane to me. Yeah, I've been working on our previous movie, which is now coming out this year, so I'm excited about that. You can watch a trailer here, go check it out. It's gonna be coming out in October. But I've been busy with that, but also been busy with wrestling. I've been hitting the ground running. I've been working just about every single weekend, and so it's been pretty hectic, but it's been a lot of fun living my dream, doing exactly what I love. Especially with the movie side of things, we've been pretty busy doing screenings and stuff. I'll put in some pictures. We've had a cool bunch of screenings we've been doing lately here in town, trying to get the underground scene going. But it's just been fantastic few months, but it's been so very busy. I haven't been able to make any videos. So I'm finally doing an update. This is like 7 months overdue, but in that time I have accumulated a lot of stuff, and so I want to show some of that off to you guys, let you see just what I've been getting, see some of that horror goodness you've been missing out on. And so honestly, I'm just going to dive right in because it is kind of a lot. So I'll start off with this mask that I got from good friend Janice.click. He is a filmmaker also. He's made films like Shrek Crack, Donkey Dick Pills. He has made movie coming out, Teenage Gargoyle. So many cool things that he's been involved with, and I've been lucky enough being able to work with him. If you watch my vlog, whenever we went up to do the premiere for Miracle of Violence, our second film, we got the film where part of this movie that this prop comes from. So I'm crazy excited to have this because this is definitely one of the coolest things in my collection. That is a mask for the Church of the Pigman. If you haven't seen it or heard anything about it, Pigman is like a cryptid from like Missouri, and basically the movie that we're in is kind of a cult kind of thing, almost like Mormons in a lot of ways, but it's a really fun film. I actually did play in it, and so one of the movies I'll be showing you is this one, and this is Church Swine. Pretty cool. This was the first movie we actually showed for our underground horror nights, and so it was really cool to have Janice make the trip down. Kind of full circle moment because we showed our second film with him. He was kind of one of the reasons why we started making movies to begin with, and so this is one of the definitely coolest things in my collection, and so I'm pretty stoked to have that. Honestly, next up, I'll show you my pins. I'm just going to show you a picture because I don't want to take them all down. I've gotten some cool Art the Clown pins. If you've been to Walmart, they have had these cool like variety packs. And I've only gotten one of them for Christmas, and then my brother gave me this one. I'll put it up right here. Gave me this one. But I got all four of these, and I love Art the Clown. I remember back in 2016 whenever it was barely taken off for Terrifier, and so it's really cool to see just how far it's grown, that we can find freaking pins and t-shirts and all kinds of stuff at Walmart nonetheless. But speaking of Art the Clown, I'll jump into the figures. You can see I already have them on display right there. I'll put in a good picture and show you like a little bit of the figure. He came with a crap ton of accessories. He got like pretty much every weapon you can imagine for Art the Clown. But he's got all these different heads and different pieces and stuff like that, so it's a fantastic figure. Probably my favorite NECA figure I've seen. NECA kind of has been, I don't know, if you got NECA, you know, they're not always the greatest quality and stuff like that, but that figure is amazing, and it's the bloody variant, and so I was super happy to find that in store nonetheless. And so next up, actually I'll just show you this one too, because it's not like it's on display already, and it's like right there is Vecna from Stranger Things. As I'll put in a picture here so you don't have to squint your eyes trying to find it or nothing. But really cool. I love Stranger Things. Stranger Things is like my favorite. As you tell, I got the autograph from Demogorgon, and I got 11 figure, I got posters, I got all kinds of Stranger Things stuff. I'm a huge Stranger Things fan, and so pulling a Vecna as a blind buy was pretty dope because I do have Eddie Munson and I also have Robin, and so I'm trying to get that little collection. Now that I got those three, it's kind of cool. I want to get them all now at this point. And so speaking of Stranger Things, next up is this really cool figure. I'm probably gonna take this out of the box. I haven't taken it out yet, but it is the Demogorgon. So dope. Like I said, I got the Demogorgon autograph from Mark Steger, who also played and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I Am Legend, all kinds of stuff. He's a really dope creature actor. But I love the Demogorgon, one of the coolest designs for a monster I think I've ever seen. But really cool. This is a dope figure too, and this is like 12 bucks, dude. It's like the freaking size of my arm. But really cool stuff. So still on the Stranger Things topic, this one is something that I seen at Walmart, and I knew I couldn't pass it up at all because it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole life, I would say. And that is this Stranger Things tin lunchbox. Just look at this art on here. Hopefully it's not too, you can see my phone, but hopefully it's okay, don't, sorry. Fantastic artwork, like this is insanity. I'll show you the sides in a second. Yeah, this was at Walmart, I think it was like 20 bucks maybe. But like I said, I love Stranger Things. It's probably my favorite show I've ever watched. This really resonates with me, especially like in high school, because it came out whenever I was like 15. I remember watching it ever since then. Because I felt like I was in, you know, like Nancy's age always. Nancy and Jonathan and all those guys. And so it's really cool to kind of be in that shoes. And then with the finale and everything, it was very heartfelt. Especially playing Landslide at the end. Those are my mom's favorite songs. And so it was emotional when I was a little baby watching it. The last figure that I have here is a Funko Pop. And now I have Kane from Alien. This was one I seen at Walmart too, and I was like, dude, I can't pass that up. Like, this is insane. The face hugger on Kane, setting up for his death scene, one of the most iconic death scenes in all of cinema. But yeah, this is really, I don't have anything aliens, or Alien. And I love the movie Alien, especially that first one. The sequels are okay, but I love Alien, and so I'm happy to have that. Pretty hyped to be able to put that in my collection and add to my Funko Pops. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and dive right into the movies. I do have quite a few, so I'm just gonna kind of almost be running through them a little bit. Not typically sit there and talk through them like I used to and stuff, just because I don't want this to be like a 20-25 minute video. And so first up is The Anointed. This is one of the movies we actually showed in the for our underground horror movie nights. Actually, just like this last weekend. One of my good friends, Gabby, she plays in this, but it is made kind of local. It is made in northwestern Arkansas, and so it's really cool to be able to bring them down, and we did like a Q&A and stuff like that. So really cool stuff, being able to kind of invite forward more into our home community. If you're in the area and ever looking for anything cool to do and hang out with some horror people, come out. It's free. There's free wine. We get about 30 people every time, so really cool stuff. And if you just want to talk about horror movies, that's the place to be. Next up is kind of a little array of movies, kind of all over the place, but this first one was a blind buy, and that is Killer High. It's a sci-fi original film, and I believe this came out during the pandemic time, but it's a really cool like creature film. The mascot, I guess, is like the killer. It's almost, if you ever seen the movie Slaughter High, where it's like a killer killing all the kids at like the high school reunion, this is it, except with a scary mascot, and it's a cool like warthog. And so that's really cool. It was kind of funny. I didn't mean to do that, like Arkansas warthog. I don't know, it's kind of funny. Next up is one that I was really surprised to find, especially out in the wild, and at Dollar General nonetheless. It's Heavy Metal Apocalypse, aka Deathgasm. It's a New Zealand film. This is one of my favorite demon/zombie genre movies, kind of like the movie Demons. This one is freaking fantastic, especially if you're a fan of like rock and metal music. It's a really good satire for the way the music just affects people's lives and the way people are outcast just by the things they enjoy, like music. And so it's a really cool movie. I was actually Zach, one of the main characters, for Halloween a couple years ago. But I love Deathgasm. It was another blind watch that I seen whenever I was like 15 or 16 years old. And so finding that in the wild was pretty sick, because I haven't even really sought out to buy it, because it is kind of a rare DVD find. And so really cool stuff, really cool. Next up is a childhood favorite. This is one that people don't like a whole lot, but I love it. This Ghost Ship. Ghost Ship is a lot of fun. Your classic ghost movie, except very much like 13 Ghosts, where the ghosts can pretty much do whatever they want. They can kill you, they can phase through anything, they can create stuff, do illusions and stuff like that. But if you haven't seen it, a group of like excavators going to try to save a old ship and end up getting stuck and haunted. That's pretty much the whole movie. But really cool. It almost has that M. Night Shyamalan twist. Some people get it, some people don't. It's a early 2000s movie, so expect that. But I love that movie. is one of my favorites as a kid. Really underrated trilogy. That's Dracula 2000. The first Dracula 2000, the Dracula 2000. My mom was so obsessed with this movie. I remember watching it over and over again. Gerard Butler's best movie in my opinion, as he plays Dracula. It's a really cool take on the Dracula, the Bram Stoker's Dracula story, kind of bringing it into the new age, but tying it in with Interview with a Vampire, with New Orleans and stuff like that. Even like mention of like biblical things and stuff. And so it's really, really cool the way that they brought it together and made it this almost gothic early 2000s movie. And the second one follows it. I hate that they recasted Dracula, but Gerard Butler is already probably getting pretty big by that point. But that one kind of more follows a priest who's trying to stop Dracula himself. And the third one really dives into that religious aspect and really the classic aspect as they make the trip to Transylvania. And so I love that whole trilogy. If you like vampires, you'll love it too, because it's very much the classic vampire feeling, and I love that. And speaking of classic vampires, this one was that I got with Deathgasm at Dollar General, which was really cool. It's a Jess Franco movie. It's Count Dracula. I love Count Dracula. I love the original Bram Stoker story of Count Dracula. And so this one is really cool to watch because Klaus Kinski, he plays the Renfield character, and so it's a whole different take if you've seen the 90s Dracula movie. So it's really cool to kind of see the difference with, you know, like Christopher Lee as opposed to Gary Oldman. Like, it's really cool kind of lining them up like that. And Anthony Hopkins lining up with the older Van Helsing. And so it's just a really fun movie. It is a little bit slower than the 90s version, so you have to be kind of ready for that, but fantastic film. 10 out of 10. Especially for the time. I love the Hammer movies. And I think that one is up there. This is definitely one of my favorite Hammer Dracula movies, for sure. So staying on the vampire trend, this is the last vampire movie. Well, next one kind of is, but this one is Salem's Lot. I love Stephen King. It's kind of funny my brother isn't the biggest fan of this movie just because of the long run time. But I actually got this around Halloween time, hence the orange sleeve. I just really like the sleeve, and this is the movie that I haven't owned. I used to watch this movie all the time with my mom just a couple years ago. Probably would watch it like once or twice a week just because I love Salem's Lot. Everyone in my family loves the vibe of Stephen King movies like Dreamcatcher, the 90s It movies. There's so many of Stephen King's movies that really resonate with me and the way I grew up and stuff like that. It's a really, really fun movie. I love Salem's Lot. But it is a little bit of a runtime because it was a TV series, so it wasn't meant to be so much watched in one sitting. But you are definitely rewarded if you do watch it in one sitting because you get the full story, and it's a lot of fun. I love Salem's Lot. So sticking with Stephen King, this one is not my favorite adaptation, but I bought it simply for the sequel, and that is the Pet Sematary 2-pack. I do have the original one, the OG, but yeah, it can't. I kind of hate this version of the remake, I guess. And then I actually honestly liked Bloodlines. I thought Pet Sematary Bloodlines wasn't too bad. I thought it was a good prequel, and it set things up pretty well. I just wish that the remake was a bit better and stayed true to the book a little bit better. It just felt like they were going for shock value, trying to really play on movies at the time, especially like the 2017 It, just really trying to play off that. It works for some people, but I wasn't a big fan. Next up is one that is kind of underrated, one that I haven't heard really anybody talk about much, starring one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Chris Jericho, Dark Match. It's one that I watched on Shudder the day it came out, and I was pretty blown away, not just by the film itself, but by Chris Jericho's performance. It's essentially like wrestling, I believe in the 80s. This was like the territory days where everybody would like kind of travel around and stuff, and you had to travel pretty much every day to make that money and stuff. But this one kind of shows they were booked by, I think his name's the Messiah or something like that, and it turns out they end up having to wrestle to death each match, and so there's only gonna be one actual winner. And so it's really cool kind of seeing the elements of wrestling being played out, because they show stuff that you don't really see in wrestling adaptations of films. And so as a wrestler, I love watching this movie. It does give a little bit too much away for my liking, kind of like WN Real. Like, it does kind of go a little too deep and show secrets that kind of protect the business, but I love the movie. It's a fun one, and I'm actually gonna watch it like tomorrow or something. I love that movie. Next up is these next couple ones are this last year or two, and movies that I all watched in the movie theater. Rest in peace. I missed the movie theater so much, man. So this was actually one of my favorite movies of 2024, and I'm happy to actually have it. That's A Quiet Place Day One. This is the third installment of the series, and I haven't heard a whole lot of people talking about it, but Lupita Nyong'o's performance in that is phenomenal. Same with Eddie Munson, Joseph Quinn. His role in that is insane. Like, it's one of my favorite roles of all time. Just the way this movie is so well shot, it almost feels like it's definitely kind of a drama more so than horror, but it has such a good revolving story. The main character, Lupita Nyong'o, her character has cancer, and so she's already kind of in this place where she's gonna die soon. And so she is on a mission. The whole world's going to hell, and aliens are invading, but she has to make it to get a piece of pizza from her favorite place. I believe it was her dad's shop or something like that. And so it's a really touching story in that way, and she runs into the most afraid man in the entire world, Joseph Quinn. And so I love that movie. 10 out of 10, awesome film. And next up is another 10 out of 10, one that really shocked me based on the original, because this is so much better than the original. That's Smile 2. Smile 2 is almost a musical. Sky Riley, she's like the main character, played by, what's her name, Naomi Scott. But Smile 2 is a really well done movie that deals with addiction as opposed to the dark mental health issues that the first one really dealt with. It still kind of dives into those topics, but not so I don't know, not so vaguely. This one felt really like a true, someone who had been through it made this one, with the flashbacks and the addiction and coping mechanisms and stuff like that. This one is really well done. But what was really better than that was the kills. The kills were amazing, the story was amazing, and of course Naomi Scott. I think this was my favorite movie of 2 years ago or last year, whenever it came out. 2024? Yeah. And I was thankful to be able to get a poster of that. I would actually hang it up right now. But I love this movie. And check it out if you haven't. You're really missing out if you haven't seen that movie yet. And next up is actually probably the best movie of last year, my favorite movie of last year. And I'm thankful to have a poster of this one as well. And that is Sinners. And what can I say? Give it a round of applause, man. Academy Award winning movie, Sinners. It's been so long since horror has been really in the limelight in this way. And this one, Weapons, is horror getting such a big praise these days. It makes my heart happy, especially since it's been so taboo so long. Horror hasn't really gotten its flowers that it's deserved. I'm glad that this one has been praised the way it is. I'm happy to have this on DVD, and this is a really cool sleeve. I love the Club Duke sleeve to this, and yeah, like I said, this is probably my favorite movie of last year. But anyways, yeah, that's all that I got for you guys. I'll try to edit this down so it's not so long. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I got a lot of cool stuff. But I actually wanted to shout out, I'm doing a giveaway. And so I have a couple movies I'm going to be giving away. It's going to be a surprise for those that win it. All you have to do is comment down below your favorite movie. That's it. And so I actually have some autographs from right here, Christopher Matthew Spencer. Really cool dude. He reached out to me on Instagram and he sent me some autographs. And so I have quite a few copies of autographs from Malum. And so if you receive the package from me, you'll also be receiving a copy of Malum and an autograph, as well as a couple other movies and other goodies. And so just comment down below, and yeah, you'll be entered for a giveaway. But that's all I got for you guys. Stay tuned, because I'm going to hopefully be picking traction back up, doing some more fun videos, doing some unboxings, reviews and stuff. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.